if I would have applied myself, I could have gone to the NBA.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. But it's just like, it's been done. I didn't want to, I was like, I don't want to be a follower. Hi, I'm Jason Concepcion.
And I'm Shea Serrano. And we are back. We have a new podcast from Wondery. It's called Six Trophies.
Woo!
And it's the best.
Each week, Shea Serrano and I are combing through all the NBA storylines, finding the best, most interesting, most compelling stories, and then handing out 6 pop culture themed trophies for 6 basketball related activities.
Trophies like the Dominic Toretto I Live My Life a Quarter Mile at a Time trophy, which is given to someone who made a short-term decision with no regard for future consequence.
Or the Christopher Nolan Tenet trophy, which is given to someone who did something that we didn't understand.
Catalina Wine Mixer trophy.
Ooh, the Lauryn Hill, you might win some, but you just lost one trophy. And what's more, the NBA playoffs are here, so you want to make 6 Trophies your go-to companion podcast through all the craziness. Follow 6 Trophies on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. Listen ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
All right, y'all. Welcome to part 2 of Mavs Party. This is Kirk Henderson, editor-in-chief of MavsMoneyball.com, and this is also part of Pod Maverick. We went so long following Josh and I's initial post-game pod that we had to run a 2-part Mavs Party. The darn thing went over 3 hours, period. If you missed any of this, please check your feed. There should be 2 additional podcasts. Right now, I'm going to lead right into the next part of Pod Maverick. Thank you so much for listening. Go Mavs.
All right, you're back. Good.
I think I finished tearing my meniscus running to and from the bathroom. But this is what we do here. So what are you thinking, my man?
Okay, first of all, I want to lead off with this, Kurt. Congratulations to you and Josh. I know how hard you guys have worked to build this platform. I know you guys are probably getting record engagement tonight. I mean, I was 5 minutes late getting into the studio, and I had to wait over an hour to even get in, and I didn't give a fuck.
Hey, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. The game tonight, I mean, what really can you say? I already said it about Luka. Finally played the way that I've been waiting for him to play all playoffs. Man. And then once he got going, opened up everything for everybody else, including Kyrie. I want to mention one thing, though, about this game. How about Josh Green, okay? The 2 passes. So he made the one pass, the wraparound bounce pass from half court, I think, to PJ, which is the best pass I've ever seen him make. Mm-hmm. And then he followed that up like a couple minutes later. Do you think he did that drop-off pass he did in transition? Did he do that intentionally?
Oh, yeah. I hate it. It's so good. It like when people do shit like that, where it's like that's where they're a different species of person, because I can never do anything like that. It's amazing. What in the hell is backing up? Where are you? Where someone is driving a forklift at 2 a.m?
No. So I'm on my balcony. I'm having a rum and coke and smoking a cigarette. I'm going to be inside in like 30 seconds when I'm done with this cig. They're doing construction right now on the sidewalk outside. So I apologize in advance.
DC never sleeps. It's just funny.
No, it does not. Anyway, so like I said, I mean, really not too much to say about the game tonight. But I want to look ahead a little bit to the finals.
Sure.
I'm really interested to see how. First of all, Boston. I know that they've had a cakewalk to the finals, but they're a formidable team. Like let's not get it twisted. I know people love to clown Boston, and for good reason. But they're a formidable team. They're really kind of the perfect put together team for the modern NBA. They have 5 guys on the court at any time who can make a 3, and 5 guys who can switch pick and rolls and all that kind of stuff. I'm really interested to see how they are going to guard Dallas and the Luka pick and rolls. Whether they're going to blitz, whether they're going to switch, whether they're going to play drop. I mean, I think if Porzingis is the pick and roll defender, it would make sense for them to play more drop. I think what Boston will try to do is they don't want Porzingis in that situation. So I think they'll do a lot of pre-switching with, whoever
Luka is like Luka becomes like we don't talk enough about white on white crime when he plays Porzingis. Like there's some real viciousness going on when he plays dudes like that.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm going inside right now, so
it's amazing. This is the best live radio, everybody. It's the best part about it. I see my friend Anthony and my friend Bryce and my friend. I see like people that actually know IRL in real life that are looking at me on the live show, being like, "Why do you do this?" I'm like, "Because it's fun. That's why."
No, I mean, Kirk, you are indefatigable. Right? Is that how you say it? I don't know how you do it. I don't have any kids yet. So I don't know.
Oh, I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to pay for this until the Mavericks start the finals. Like I'll feel better then. Anyway, let's hurry along. Come on. Tell me what else you got.
So yeah, like I said, just be interested to see how Boston defends Dallas. And in terms of Dallas on defense, their strategy has been, wall off the paint and at the concession of, giving up 3-pointers, but Boston's been the best 3-point shooting team in the league all year. So how do you see Dallas playing Boston defensively? I would imagine that they're going to stick with their base principles. But Boston is going to be able. They have more. I mean, they just have more playmakers and scorers than Minnesota does. They're not going to have 3, non-scorers or non-shooters out there.
Yep.
So, that's going to be a challenge for them defensively. I'd be interested to see who the primary matchup for Boston is on Luka. White and Holiday are 2 very good defensive guards, but they're undersized versus Luka. I don't know if it's going to be, I would think Jaylen Brown would be more likely to see more possessions on Luka than Tatum would be. I would think they would want to put Tatum on PJ or somebody like that who's not going to stress him as much defensively. But it's going to be a hell of a matchup. I do think the Mavericks will win in 6. That's my prediction.
I love it.
And I'm not the first guy to say that on this show. I know you got a lot of people waiting. I waited for a while.
This is going to be like a 4-hour show, and my wife's going to be like, "Why do you do this? You make like $12 off this show." And I'm going to be like, "You know what? Because why not?" Hey man, thanks so much for staying up. Oh shoot, didn't mean to do that. Hey Simon, thanks so much for staying up late. We'll talk soon. All right,
Kirk. Well, I'm glad you're going to have a week off. Before I think when's the first game is next Thursday, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So make sure you get some rest, man. I hope both you and Luka get the rest that you need.
That's right. That's right. No one is taking beers out of my hand though. So, all right, man. Thanks so much. Be good.
All right. Later, man.
All right. I still saw some people trying to join the room. If you want to do that, again, I'm a sociopath. We're going to stay up until we're done. Dalton Trigg is next, and then Krishna, then Michael. Dalton, what's up?
Oh my God, Kirk! What a night!
Are you in your car?
I am.
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm sparing my wife.
Okay, that's
having
fair.
She's in bed, and the living room's not too far from the bedroom there. So
she doesn't want to hear your sultry Mavs talk at 1:45 in the morning.
She stayed up and watched the finish and the trophy ceremony and all that stuff. But when it gets into this stuff here, she's off to bed. So
yep.
Anyway, what a night! I mean, this is what we do this stuff for. This makes it all worth it. It's been a long time coming. I had just graduated from high school when the Mavs went on their last NBA Finals run, and it has been a long 13 years. We kind of got some fool's gold in 2022, thinking that the Mavs were going to get to this point then, but they were lacking in several spots, and the Brunson stuff was a huge hit. Had to take a gap year there, but man, did the Mavs rebound well, and Nico Harrison and the rest of that front office pushed all the right buttons. Jason Kidd has coached his ass off during this post.
Yes, he has.
Luka, it's funny because Luka was hobbled in that Clippers series. He was obviously hobbled in that OKC series. I thought OKC was way more physical with Luka than the Timberwolves were in the Western Conference Finals. You know, Lou Dort was just a wrecking ball in that series. So it seems like Luka got healthier as this Minnesota series went on, and now the guy's got a full week, to rest up, and the rest of the team does before the NBA Finals start. And I don't know, man. I think this team is gonna, shock the national media because it's coming. I mean, hardly anybody's gonna pick the Mavs. I feel like, we saw it on Shaq did, and we saw it on the TNT postgame show.
Tim Legler did.
Tim. Mavs the Mavs might put a Tim Legler banner up at AAC.
We should. He a former Maverick. He deserves it. Let's put a banner up for Timmy Legs.
Yeah. Jordan in the chat. Dalton Triggs sounds like a country singer. Yeah, I mean that's
guys.
That's
this is actually Luke. His real name is Luke Bryan. You guys just don't know that.
Yeah,
he sung Fast Car. He won an Emmy, but this is just a secondary gig.
But yeah, look, I was talking with my guy DJ on our own post game pod, and it's just I get it. The Celtics, they won 64 games. They're incredible. They have top to bottom. They have great depth. I think this series is going to be more like the OKC series than it was the Minnesota series. But yet again, I mean, you're here, you're in the NBA Finals, and you have the best player on the court. Like, what else can you ask for? That's as good of a position as you can be in. You have good depth. You have Kyrie Irving. We saw how Kyrie Irving responded to Anthony Edwards simply saying, okay, I'm going to take that matchup in the Western Conference Finals. What do we think Kyrie Irving is going to do with the whole city of Boston?
Well, it's funny. So we had a listener in here earlier. His name's Henry. He's a longtime fan of our show, but longtime in the sense of he's a Kyrie fan. He's very straightforward about that. Love me some Henry. He said that Kyrie has been performed very poorly in Boston over the years, and that's really something to pay attention to.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see how. And look, I might be completely wrong on this. I might regret saying it later. I feel like it benefits the Mavs for Kristaps Porzingis to come back, at the start of this series.
That's insane. Are you insane? Why would you say that?
Well,
he's their look. He makes me mad fundamentally because when he was with the Mavericks, he thought he was something different than what he was. After going to the Wizards and then going back to the Celtics, he was their skeleton key. He is the guy that unlocks everything because remember when he came back from meniscus surgery, he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn from three. It was like he was viciously throwing the ball at the backboard like he was playing dodgeball. He makes those shots now. It infuriates me.
Well, the reason I say that, I have a couple reasons that I say that is
Spicy.
One, you have the rust factor. Like he has been out for a while now. Like he's not, I just don't expect him to come into the finals and, just start nailing threes and getting to his spots. And, I feel like there's some natural rust that's going to be there. Second thing is, I feel like he's not ready for the physicality that Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford are going to bring to the table. How many times did we see Daniel Gafford completely destroy KP when he was on the Mavs and the Wizards played the Mavs with KP there? he just, I don't know, man. I just feel like the combination of Lively and Gafford are going to really give KP some issues. Now, you obviously have the problem of him spacing the floor, and they'll have to scheme their defense to where, you're still guarding out on the perimeter, but you have to have it to where you're not, sucking, your center out to the 3-point line. So there's some stuff that needs to be done there, but Jason Kidd has proven he can coach an elite defense when he has all the right pieces. So I have no doubt they will have their game plan intact. I expect them to be fully healthy, fully, locked in. And, I heard it earlier in the show, all the stupid shit that's going to be said over the next week.
Can't wait.
About Luka and Kyrie too. And you got the freaking Barstool owner.
You're gonna have a great time because you're so much better at me than aggregating horse shit and turning it into 300 words. I can't do it. But Stephen A. Smith might say something like, "Now Luka Doncic, he is in fact a second team All NBA player," or whatever fucking dumb thing he says, and you'll manage to turn that into a 500 word post that with a great headline. And I can't do it. I want to, I just can't. But you're really good at this.
Well, that'll have to be a midday thing if it happens, because what I've found out during this long playoff run is staying up until 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Every single game night. It takes me until at least noon.
Oh, baby boy, you need that. You tell you and your wife need to have children, because this is what blogging prepares you for. Just staying up late. You're good at it.
Yeah,
you're good at it. Dalton, where can we find your work?
Well, obviously DallasBasketball.com. I
mean,
several written things up over there. Our staff
already
has been working
you're
hard.
A sicko.
So go over there, and then obviously Nav Step Back Podcast, where we've been doing games. We normally do one podcast a week until it's playoff time, and then we go into super mode and do probably 3 a week. So go over there and check all that out too. But Kirk, it's been great. What a fun night. I've enjoyed the show. I wanted to say something else before I hop off here, but, what are the chances that Mr. Green from Australia is somehow related to Josh Green? Because that's
a regular question. We believe he is actually Josh Green's father, and he is why Josh Green is playing better. That's a fact.
Because I could totally see that guy being Josh Green's father. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He was a hard act to follow there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're the man. That. All right, man. Thanks so much. Talk soon. All right. So we're going to bring up my friend Krishna next. And Krishna, I kicked him from the show earlier to allow Jason Gallagher to join. So he's been waiting patiently. He's a longtime fan and a good friend of the show. Krishna, tell me your thoughts.
Kirk, how are you?
I am. So I have some really good wine, Cloud Break.
I'm watching.
It's an unoaked Chardonnay, because I am a 50-year-old white lady that commands the HOA, and they do what I tell them to do.
Listen, I don't drink, but I understand, man. When you're at that age, you can't hold it down like you used to. So sometimes.
Oh no, I can. I'm a professional.
Oh, okay. Well, I speak. I do need to apologize. I watched one game this series. It was game 4.
No, that's okay. Look, your fandom, you're very superstitious. You're good at this.
You don't understand. I'm so superstitious. I'm stupidly superstitious only about sports for some reason. But so I was like, you know what? I will not watch this first half. And I didn't. And, I was very happy. But it's very funny because for some reason, I watched game 7, 2022, and that was fine. So who knows? I'll start off with Ant is still good, right? All this hullabaloo about him, he's still really good, but you can see the big difference.
I love that I hate him.
I do. I don't hate him. I think he's good. Before the season, I think I talked about if Minnesota are bad, I think the Mavericks should go get Ant, because I think he'll be that good. And I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, but I feel pretty well acquitted that I think he's going to be a really good player. Now, do I think the hyperbole from the media helps him? I don't think so, but it's clear, you saw the difference between him and Luka and Kai, and even Kat versus Luka and Kai, is that Luka and Kyrie, even if they don't necessarily have, quote unquote spots, they know what they want to do in an offense, especially at clutch time. And Ant just isn't there yet. I think he's still a really great player. He's got a lot to go. And look, the thing is that's positive is he has room to improve. So I wouldn't be super down on him if you're a Minnesota fan or anyone. I just think the media sucks sometimes, Kirk. The hyperbole is always way too much, and it sucks that you got put with that. But
we got to make content, and if it's disrespectful to the Mavericks, then all the better.
Look, I have nothing against him. He seemed awesome. Otherwise, I was just thinking it's crazy how long this season has been, and there's just been contributions from almost everyone on this roster at some point or another.
Good take.
I noted this down. I took notes while all of this was waiting, so I didn't take you guys way too long. THJ versus the Pelicans, him and Kai dropped 40 in that game. And then it's clear. I think his time is coming to an end on this team. Rightfully so. It's been a while. But he's clearly gives some good times, and I'm hopefully it ends happily, and that's I think at least a positive and makes room for other guys. Exum obviously been up and down this playoffs, more down than up, but easy to forget. Like the guy was so clutch in that second Kings game and then that Rockets game at home. Like, and you talked about it in December, scoring 20 a game was insane with Kyrie out. Credit to him. And then DJJ has just been awesome on defense. Like he has been the perimeter, the point of attack defender this team has wanted for so long. And he's done that. Yeah. Is he going to miss threes? Yeah. Is he like the perfect offensive player? No, but you've talked about it for so long. When you and Josh talked about it for so long, when you have Luka, he just makes players better. Like it doesn't matter. Obviously you have to be able to do something, and DJJ can do something, but when you're okay on offense, he makes you good. And that's enough, especially when he's that good on defense. And he has been. He's been phenomenal all 3 series on defense. He really, really has. Credit to him. PJ, I think a lot of us compared PJ to like what the Aaron Gordon trade is. And honestly, in some ways, he's kind of fit that better. Because Aaron Gordon, we saw it in that last series. When Aaron Gordon can't hit the 3, it hurts that team a lot, especially where it was built. And so, yeah, PJ's been inconsistent with hitting the 3-point shot, but I think he's done it at points, and he's done it at very important points in not just the series, this entire playoffs, which has been phenomenal. And then who else do I have? Oh, Gafford. I get all the frustrations about Gafford, but to me, in my eyes,
he was awesome tonight, man.
He's been awesome, but also like to me, the reason you brought him in is just to raise the ceiling of your backup 5, because that's really what he plays. Yeah, exactly. And like you're saying, Ant literally came out before the series and said, "Hey, I'm not calling myself that."
He's not. That's why I like him. He's something new. And honestly, quietly, he's much more fun. MJ was not as fun. He was dominant, but not fun. Like Ant is like the guy. He's fun.
He's kind of like Shaq. Like when Shaq was really in his prime, he was annoying if you weren't a fan of Shaq. But if you're a fan of Shaq, he was just like funny.
Yep.
That's kind of what it is. What was I saying? I was saying, Gafford. Gafford is just like your backup 5, realistically. Like that's what he is. Yes, he starts on this team, but he plays backup 5 minutes, and we saw it in the series. As much as I defend Dwight Powell, I'm not good. I don't think Dwight Powell is a good player. Like I don't think he's fit for this team. Gafford, for all the stuff he doesn't do sometimes, he still does great things. He brings a floor to your backup 5 that we never even imagined, much less, for a starting 5. You were going to say, sorry.
No, I have nothing to say. Like, dude, I am just so delighted, and I'm having fun.
I am too. Oh, sorry, I'll try to go a little bit faster. And Maxey, man, everyone underrates Maxey. I find it so funny that people like, I was in a group chat and this guy was saying, I don't think Maxey's that good of a defender. There was a possession where he got isolated with Ant on the right side outside the 3, and he stayed with him the entire time until Ant went into the post, and Ant missed the shot. Like he is so good. And now he's not asked to be the anchor of your post defense. He's asked to play a help side role, and he's looked so much better for that. Yes. Did he look like he couldn't play basketball for like 6 months of this entire season? Yes, it did look like that, but credit to him. Yeah, credit to him. He's awesome. He's so unique. Like who else are you going to find who can play the 4 for you, rebound, shoot threes, and then play perimeter and post help defense? That's like an impossible archetype to find in this league. So credit to him. And then slight shout out to Dwight. I get it. A lot of fans get mad at him, and rightfully so. He's not a great player on the court, but clearly he's a strong veteran presence for this team. And like, that's important to have. Him and Morris have been that. And it's easy to necessarily forget. And you talked about it. I forget with who. This team is pretty young, Kirk. Like Kyrie, I think, is the only guy who's played significant minutes on this team that's over 30 years old. Everyone else is either 25 or younger.
That's right.
That's pretty insane. So
that's right, man.
Shout out to those guys. D Live, he's been above my expectations and more. I was really high on him, and the fact that this is his baseline, again, I'll say it again, insane. Yep. And I've got a very hot take. I have a few centers I think he's already better than.
Sure.
People wouldn't agree with me. And after the finals, if we win, I'll talk about it. I'll say who I think he's better than. But Wait till then. Wait till more people get on the D-Live train. Josh and Jaden finding like any role in this rotation seemed impossible. Not like just like a month ago, obviously when the playoffs started. So credit to them, credit to Kid. And man, what else? Kid and Sweeney. I don't get it, man. How do they like craft defensive? Like, what is with them and like actually making good defensive plans in the playoffs? I don't get it, but you know what? I will not complain. Credit to them. I mean, it's been like an amazing turnaround, and to do it 2 times in 3 years. Like we forget, maybe we don't forget, but maybe it's not as well known. But like in 22, they still built a pretty decent defense. It just got broken by an actual good center in Kevon Looney, who played his heart out.
That's right.
And you know what? Credit to them. They clearly, like when they have the personnel, like you've talked about and Josh talked about, when they have the personnel they believe in, they put out a really great plan. So credit to them. And then I own up to Kai.
I love it, Krista. Sorry. No, you're looking at your notes before you say your thing. I love that so much. That's how much you give a shit. You're writing this stuff down. I love that. Keep going. Tell me about Kyrie.
I had to because I was like, okay, I'm going to be here for so long, and I know so many people want to talk, and I don't want to hold it up as much as I usually do. What else did I have? Kyrie, I own up to it. I wasn't like as negative, I think, as most people were.
I have like 2 hours of me being like, no, please, no, God, no, no. Basically being like Michael Scott from The Office. Like I like hours of that, and it's okay. I don't care that I'm wrong.
No,
it's right.
I don't even think you were on the worst side of that spectrum. I think there were some insane takes from this offseason. Like, I think it was Simmons said, like, I would rather have Gabe Vincent than Kyrie Irving, which is like, okay, sure, I guess. Like, that is like literally just a hot take for hot take's sake. Like, I don't really understand that, but credit to him. Like, he's clearly owned it. And also, shout out to Joe Tsai for hating the Lakers so instead sending Kyrie to Dallas. Thank you for hating the Lakers.
Shout out to Joe Tsai for trying to punish Kyrie like he was a citizen of a country that's not ours by making him demand to do a certain series of things publicly. That ain't how shit works here, homie.
It's whatever. Like, you know what? I'm just happy he was petty enough and hated the Lakers enough that he said, you know what? I'll send you to Dallas. And you know what, Kyrie, out of the big 3 in Brooklyn, Kyrie's the only one who's made it not just past the first round, but to the finals. So, pretty good.
You're a good man, Krishna.
And then, oh man, SJ had this tweet. I forget it was a week ago or even longer or more recent. How much this front office and like so much of it has changed. Like it's easy to forget. It was so white, Kirk. Like I don't mean to be rude. It was so white.
No, that's actually a point of fact where it's like Rick Carlisle and Don Nelson, 2 older, like men in their 60s or older. White guys like that that's a thing.
It was a factor. Like it's not to be rude to them. Like obviously they've both done some good things.
It's not rude to say the obvious. It's just rude if the obvious is somehow needlessly hurtful. This is not that. This is saying 2 old white guys are not that appealing to teen African American gentlemen.
No, shocker.
Okay.
I'm shocked. But then also like obviously Sent Marshall coming in and being like the business head, like clearly she's had some role in this, and credit to her. She came in a time that was like probably the worst to come in, and she's done a phenomenal job. And then obviously Nico, Finn, and Kid, like they've all, like the thing I think about, and SJ like put it into words, is like they had a trust in Kyrie and they didn't necessarily have to. And Kai has clearly repaid that in so many ways, and just on the court, off the court as a leader for this team. And like, it's been awesome. Like they put trust in him, and he's like paid it 1,000-fold, which is
what
you want when you do that. And it's a credit to all of them. And then a credit to Nico, man. Like we talked about in this offseason, he got that guy from Utah to help bring in decisions. He's trusted Finley. So many people. Like he's just put the right people around him. We made fun of him being like the shoe salesman, but you talked about it then, is that if he's going to be your GM, he should use his connections. And it feels like he's using those connections as, the shoe salesman. And then when he makes decisions, and even if he's wrong, he doesn't care. He just wants to make like the right decision. And it feels like he just wants to keep moving forward and making, the right team. And like, this team is so different from other teams because it's not like, oh, this team has to,
That's
play
right.
this way. It's just a good team. And it's something that I cannot believe we've waited this long for. But you know what? I'm very happy that it was this. Then the final thing, man, the big boy, the head honcho, Luka Doncic, man. What is there to say about this guy that hasn't been said? I get so giddy about it because like sometimes I just go back and I watch the 2018 draft stuff and I think about how stupid some of the talking points were from back then. And we're going to the NBA Finals, man. It's freaking nuts, dude. It's freaking bonkers.
That's right, man.
Oh man, it's crazy for me, especially. I was really young when they went in 2011. I'm like the only sports fan really in my family, and these like past few years have been awesome. Nothing hard. I have a very privileged life. I always hold my hands up to that, but it's always fun. And so I just want everyone to enjoy this, man. Like try to remember this feeling no matter what happens, because this is what sports are about. Enjoying.
That is correct.
And so everyone, have a great night. Keep having fun and good luck.
Krishna, you're the best. Love you. Krishna's so funny. He's like, I wrote everything down to be short. And he was like 20 minutes. It's my favorite. It's the best part about this. All right. We still got my friend like Anthony, Jake. We have also, I'm going to go in order. So don't you guys fucking hate me. This is the way this goes. This is democracy. Okay. And I didn't say that in the Emperor Palpatine voice. Michael, what's going on?
Well, boy, I tell you, Christian should have his own goddamn fucking program. But anyway,
it's so funny you say that because like I recruit people from these shows to join Mavs Moneyball. Tell me what you're thinking, man.
I'll tell you, man, Kirk. I tell you, I was ready to say stuff, but man, that dude was long. But anyway,
tell it again. We love hearing people's thoughts.
No. I'll tell you, this is great. Kudos to you. I think you need to get a lot of credit for the shit that you're even tonight. I mean, being on the phone with us and hearing us talk and just everything you do, the Mavs Moneyball, which I've been, reading that for years, and then having this podcast, absolutely outstanding. Just a few things that you talked about. Stephen A. That motherfucker still mispronounces. Instead of saying Doncic, he kept saying Doncic. I'm like, dude. This guy is the number one fucking player. At least pronounce his last name correct, okay? I mean, my God, what a fucking idiot. And then when you talked about white on white crime, it made me think of the story you probably heard where Charles Barkley, Larry Bird was saying something to Charles Barkley. He said, I'm being disrespected because he had a white guy on him, not a black guy. So that was kind of funny. That made me think of that. But no, man, I'll tell you, I think this can be a great series. It's a really good matchup. I think Luka, if I'm not mistaken, Luka averaged a triple-double both games. So they don't have an answer, I don't think, for Luka. The whole thing is how Kyrie's going to play, and their defense has just stepped up to another level. Yes. I'm a little worried about the 3-point shooting, because
we should be.
They're not going to be able to leave guys open, or they're going to get run out of the gym. But man, Boston does not play well at home, and if they screw up either game 1 or game 2, they lose, home court. And if the Mavericks can win both home court games, then that means they're up 3-1. So you got to like their chances, and then you have with Porzingis coming back, see, they're pretty solid, right? I mean, they're used to playing without him, right? With like 2 or 3, however many series they played without him. Now, when you have a guy coming back and he's going to be a little rusty, it changes the dynamic a little bit of stuff. So you have to factor that. And then, you talked about, popcorn.
That was such a funny comment. Shout out to Roshan. That was so fun. No, that was our man in Brazil. My apologies.
I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but the thing is that you look at when they played Golden State in the finals. They had them 2-1. They had them on the ropes at home to go up 3-1, and Golden State, and that was the game that Steph Curry just went off. Yeah. They tied the series 2-2, and they didn't look back. So I'm not saying it's going to be that like that, but man, you just got to wonder if they can get that split And I really think they can, because the way the Mavericks play on the road, 9 fucking victories, that has to be tops, or at least tied,
It's
if
what
not the
it
top.
does. I don't know what I don't know whether it really matters, other than the fact that it gives me an irrational level of confidence, because Luka Doncic going into Boston, he like, it's like he's going to be wandering around spinning in a circle being like, I'm home, everyone hates, this is fantastic. I can't wait.
Well, in previous seasons, remember he had that incredible shot that he made against Boston at home, like about 1 or 2 years ago. So I'm not saying he owns Boston, but he's very comfortable. I mean, he's averaging 30. I mean, I think between him and Kyrie, they're averaging 60 points in both games. Right. Now they lost by average of 18, but again, that team is not the team now. The team now is so much different. Think about them beating the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. Everyone knows the Western Conference was far better. I mean, monumentally better than Eastern Conference. And I'm not degrading what the Celtics did, winning 64 games, but the competition, you got to look at that. You got to look at what the Mavs did. The Mavs had to fight that fucking linebacker, against in OKC. And then against a really good Minnesota team that beat the defending champion or the champions, Denver. So and then like Boston had a cakewalk. Every key player was missing in their 3 playoff series. You got to look at that. So I mean, but you're going to look at. The bias against the national media is just fucking ridiculous. I mean, every time now. I mean, there's a lot of times I tape it and then I hear somebody say some shit and then I just delete it. I didn't want to listen to the hell like Perks or fucking Stephen A. Smith or these other motherfuckers because or even the worst is Michael Wilbon, man. That dude just fucking gets on my last nerve because it's always.
No, he hasn't watched basketball since the Eisenhower administration. He doesn't care. Like, he likes Michael Jordan. That's what we know.
Oh my God! I mean, they okay, and they always do the stupid ass thing. They say, "Okay,
you're right.
Did the Mavs win it or did Minnesota blow it?" And what do you think they're going to fucking say? Like they're going to say to Mavs? No, they're going to say, "Oh, what's wrong with Minnesota?" Blah 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 blah. No one ever gives them fucking credit. I really wonder what they're going to say about this game. The fact that Luka this was reminiscent of Game 7, Phoenix. And I guarantee no one's going to say that. They're going to talk about Minnesota and Ant. And how dare them fucking say Ant is the next face of the NBA when you got
Luka, he's very handsome.
Like,
and he smiles. He's got a great. Have you seen the movie Hustle? He looks good in Hustle. I get it. I love Ant.
Yeah,
he's just not it yet.
No, I mean, you've got the fucking Luka the Don. Now, he's not American. He's foreign.
No, but
born
he's
in
perfectly
Slovenia,
American.
But,
like, he yells at the manager. That's the most like screaming at authority is the most American thing about him.
Oh my God, he is like, and then I missed the part where he basically wanted Dwight Powell off the floor.
That was so funny.
He does things very, very covertly. I mean, I guess like let me tell you something. This game. I mean, I'm very superstitious. There's some things I did, which maybe if they come back and win, I'll call and tell people what I did because I didn't hear one until the last 2 minutes of the game. I didn't hear any shit that fucking Reggie Miller or those other motherfuckers were talking about. Thank God, because I swear to God, every fucking time it's like, oh, what can Minnesota do to fucking win? It's like, motherfuckers, the Mavs are at home. If the Mavs are at home or Minnesota's at home, if Minnesota's at home, they're like, oh, okay, what does Minnesota need to do to close this game out? If the Mavs are at home, what does Minnesota need to do to come back and win? I mean, it's so fucking biased for Minnesota. And it's like, and you could even see in the game that they won in Dallas, when it was 104, and PJ hit the 3, made it 107.
That's right.
It went back to Reggie Miller, and he looked like his fucking dad died. He was so fucking sad. He said that was a key point of the game and shit. So now I tell you, I have to say one thing though. I cannot stand fucking Doris Burke. Oh my God, that woman. Nothing against women, okay?
You're
Women are
trying to
great.
get me in trouble, Michael. I cannot do that.
I'm,
It's 1:15.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry. You're in the media. I know. I don't mean to, but no. I mean when she tries to be hip or try now.
Oh, sure.
Now
That's
JJ,
all of them.
I like JJ. I like JJ, and I love Mike. The announcer. What's the guy? Mike. Oh shit! What's the guy? The gray haired dude. Yeah, I love them, but I tell you, the Doris Burke. Because I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's a slant with her against Luka. Just watch it. There's these little and just see. I mean, I might have to turn down the sound when they play on the road because they're going to be just gushing about fucking. Even if Jason Tatum makes a fucking basic layup, they're going to say that he's like it's a fucking all-star, for making a simple ass shot like that. And Luka does like a 30-foot turnaround.
I hear you.
And they're going to say, oh, he just does that. He was done that when he was 13 years old. Just bullshit.
I hear
like
you.
that, so.
Michael,
all right,
enjoy it. It should be fun. We'll talk soon, okay?
It will. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Talk soon. All right. My man coming up next is Leo, longtime listener. Never seen his face. Leo, what's going on?
I don't have a camera. What you want me to do?
What are you talking about? You have perfect audio. I don't want to hear this shit. Where are you calling in from?
I'm from my home, but like I don't have a camera. I use a mic and I run it through an audio splitter.
Fair enough. All right. What do you got, buddy?
Just a callback. It's so nice to see that Anthony Edwards followed the hustle plot line. We had to let a Euro beat him again. I just love that. Thank you, Ant. Kermit, you the GOAT.
All right, buddy. I love you. Talk soon, okay?
Oh, not done yet. Sorry.
No. Hey, all right.
Oh, sorry. Whenever you say je ne sais quoi, are you saying vibes, basically?
Yeah. Like je ne sais quoi is French for I can't describe it, more or less.
Gotcha. Just a couple requests. Can you please bring Matt Moore up for another podcast? I need to see what he says.
Matt and I are undergoing mediation. We've said some things to one another, really fucking mean things to one another, and I don't want to put him on screen. Okay. We respect his privacy at this time. However, I love that you said this. He actually wrote, and I'm going to post this in the chat. If you were to Google, Luka Doncic takes the mantle of the best in the world. Matt wrote that tonight. I'm going to post the link in the tweet, in the chat. Matt has bent the knee. It's a big step in the right direction, friends.
All right.
All right, man.
A giant shout out to you and Josh. Thank you for staying up this late and doing these shows for us.
Josh goes to bed. Fuck Josh. Coward.
A big shout out to the fans who hop on here night after night, losses or no losses.
That's right.
And I didn't get to hear the last show, but what was your reaction to hearing that Lowe uses Moneyball, Mavs Moneyball as like his go-to site for Mavs news?
So I love that. I ran into Zach in 2012 or 2013 in the Wizards locker room. He saw my credential and he said, Mavs Moneyball, I love that place. Kirk, I love your blah, blah, blah. I don't believe him that he actually read anything that I said, but I got to tell you, Zach being that level of kind is one of the things that has driven me for several years. So the point being, always be kind. He's a good guy. He means well. We are going to be nice to him because he reads Mavs Moneyball. So thanks so much, man. Talk soon, okay?
Bye.
Primary Election Day is Tuesday, June 4th. Now is the time to make a plan. Whether you plan to vote absentee by mail, in person at your county auditor's office before Election Day, or at your polling place on June 4th, it's important you take steps now to make your plan at voterready.iowa.gov. Remember, Election Day is Tuesday, June 4th. Find more info at voterready.iowa.gov. This message is presented by the Iowa Secretary of State.
All right, coming up next is former Mavs Moneyball contributor and current Christian's gonna have to tell me where he works now. He writes for the WNBA and he covers the WNBA team based out of Seattle. Christian, what's up, man?
My man, Kirk, how's it going, bro?
It's good. You can see how well I'm doing. I'm fighting the tide.
No, for real though. Is that your first or second bottle of Chardonnay?
1.5.
1.5. I'll take it. Round up to 2. But like, listen, man. The first thing I've been thinking about this entire playoff stretch is the fact that Jason Kidd has outcoached 3 of the best coaches in the NBA. When have you ever been able to say that about him?
Ever? I mean, I wanted to send him into space on a spacecraft that would not return.
Listen, I've wanted to fire him on a rocket into the sun numerous times. Like, just 12.0 runs. There's no timeout calls. And it's like I've lost a lot of hair over the last 2 seasons because of shit like that. But over so far this postseason, man, it's like a whole different person. This entire team, the play calling, the planning, just the strategies, like everything has changed. Everything's been fine-tuned. And I say all of this still, and it feels like the national media never really gave them a chance outside of the Clipper series still. Oh, well, it's OKC. Well, we'll see what happens. It's Minnesota. Oh, no, what Minnesota going to do? They're the best team in the league, all this other shit. It's like they never gave Dallas a fair shot. And it's like they can say they did, and it's like I've watched a lot of this shit because I work from home. And it's really just, fluff if you want to keep a buck with
Sure.
That's really all it is. And they never really gave them a fair shot even before the postseason started. It's like, that's fine. But like Derek Lively hasn't missed a field goal this entire Western Conference Finals, bro.
After Chet beat the shit out of him.
After he beat the shit out of him, man. And it's like, definitely going to need him because I feel like a lot of people are thinking that Kristaps is going to lay egg. I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. I mean, he's not going to be the best player on the court, but, I mean, he's a 7'3" freak. I mean, you add that to any type of team, and there's going to be a different dynamic. You feel me? But, over this season, I feel like you've talked a lot to people about, what they thought. What have been some moments this season about that, have made you happy or, that have stuck out to you?
The things start to blend together over a period of years. I will say that I remember elements of the first half of and this is tough for me because this is a year that my wife and I had our second baby. And you didn't see this, but there were a series of shows where I had and I'll say this now, but just because it's funny, we named our second child Grant because my wife is related to Ulysses S. Grant, but I never actually said that on the show because I thought everyone would tell me that we named our child after Grant Williams. So it's like there's a lot of like early season memories of me doing stuff in like the middle of the night that I like vaguely remember. And part of why I do this, and we just eclipsed 3 hours on the live show. Part of why I continue to do this is because I was in Virginia by myself for such a long time. And I lived in Virginia for 15 years and I hate Virginia. And so I watched the Mavericks 2011 finals by myself. And so I never wanted to be alone again when I was watching the Mavericks. And so when I joined Mavs Moneyball in 2013, which was like, I spent like 2012, thank God I deleted all this stuff, really mean things about Lamar Odom because he made it very simple, but I didn't know what was going on in Lamar's life. And so this year, one of the things that I really, really remember was coming together after the PJ trade, because Gafford was kind of like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But Josh Bowe had written about PJ Washington and being like, we should make PJ happen. So that's a thing that exists in my brain. So that's probably like one of my favorite things was right after the trade deadlines. What about you?
Honestly, man, I feel like the beginning of the season, when those first couple of games, I saw those flashes from D-Live, I was like, listen.
Mavs Moneyball, you son of a bitch.
What'd you say?
Kidding. Before you quit Mavs Moneyball to go do something more fun. I'm just kidding.
Listen, man. I appreciate Mavs Moneyball. Listen, I told you before, I wouldn't be
I know.
Man. Come on, the wings coverage and everything, that really opened up a lot of different doors for me, But, yeah, when D-Live came to the team, man, those first couple of games, I'm like, this is the post they've always needed. He can stretch the floor a little bit. He's rangy. He roams really well. Like, he's very mobile for his size. Like, they haven't had that threat in years. I mean, shit, since what, Tyson Chandler? Like, that's how long it's been since they had a consistent threat that could do the things that he does. And that's probably one of the most happiest moments for me, seeing Luka, not really having to worry about rim protection anymore. Like, the entire team flourishing on defense because they don't have to overhelp. Like, shit like that. Little things that really make a difference in how the team plays overall on both sides of the court. And, as far as naming your kid Grant, rather name him Grant after Grant Williams and name your kid Dakota after Dak Prescott.
Sure. Fair enough.
That's all for me, man. Appreciate you.
I love you, man. Be good. All right. Coming up next is my friend and former colleague and maybe future colleague one day, Anthony Irwin, who runs multiple podcasts. He just runs a very complicated podcast for what is the name of your show, Anthony? What's going on? You're muted still. It's really impressive.
No, I was just hopping on here. Big longtime Mavs fan over here. Just supporting my Dallas Mavericks and their endeavors in this upcoming final series. I don't host a show for a different that covers a different team. I am just strictly a lifelong Mavericks fan.
Yep. You're the man.
No, I
wanted
to say this before because I really do I greatly respect that. Like on a night like tonight, you're just gonna get out of your way or get out of everybody else's way and just let Mavericks fans be Mavericks fans to enjoy this moment because that's what
right.
This is all about. This is what we do this for, right?
That's right.
That's what SB Nation forgot somewhere along the way was that we should allow fans to have their voice.
Look, no. It's very important that Andre Iguodala have his own podcast and the rest of us get canned. It's very important.
No, it's totally true that his show that gets about as much traffic as mine does should totally, anyway. But I do want to say though that the reason I wanted to come up here and speak is that I think one of the legitimate kind of market inefficiencies here moving forward is the commitment to the timeline. When you have a superstar like Luka, when you have a superstar like Jokic or Giannis or whoever, being willing to push all those chips into the table to go out and get PJ Washington, to go out and get Daniel Gafford, that I'm really happy that gets rewarded here for the Mavericks, the whole two timeline thing in Golden State, the cowardice that the way that the Lakers have operated with LeBron, I think the concept of sustainability has really kind of put many of the dweebs in charge of a lot of these teams in a chokehold. And I'm happy that the Mavericks are just like, no, screw that. We have the best player in the world or one of the best players in the world.
That's right.
We're going to go out there and we're going to give him a viable chance at winning. That required, buying low on Kyrie and then doubling down on that gamble for Gafford and for PJ Washington, and then getting lucky with the fact that the team that they played in the first round would have helped make that gamble possible. I think it's all really, really cool that this is coming to fruition in that way, and I hope it convinces more of these teams in a league that is more directed towards parity and where it's leveling everything out. Hey, those margins really matter. And if you're willing to go all in and give yourself a real chance and stay healthy, who knows what could happen. And
that's exactly right.
I'm taking the Mavericks against the Celtics. Not Lakers hate aside. Yep. I think that the Mavericks could have the two best players in the series. Most importantly, the best player in the series. And that's a great place to start.
It's a really good place to start. Anthony, you're my man. Thanks for staying up late.
Hey, enjoy that House of the Dragon wine. It's really legitimately good.
Is it good?
Yeah, I was shocked by it.
I like to hear that.
Yeah.
And
all right, everybody.
I am sauced. All right, we'll talk soon. All right, be good. Anthony is a very old friend from old Blogger Town. All right, coming up next, I'm going to let him skip the line only because he's got work to do. Is friend of the show, former, and in fact, one of my dearest Mavs friends. He helped build Mavs Moneyball into what it is, and then he went to take a much better job. Tim Cato.
Zach really does read us for the record.
He does.
And I still say us.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
The Athletic sucks. Mavs Moneyball for life.
No. He's always been a fan.
Man, what you doing, buddy? You look good.
I'm in the hotel room, tired.
Oh,
Gotta
you're in
finish my
Minnesota.
piece.
Luca made
words
you
am
go
I
to
at?
Minnesota. Fuck that guy.
I'm at shit. I'm only at 400 words.
That's
Thought I was
fine.
further along.
Well, here's the thing. These Dallas Mavericks,
They're good words, though.
yes. Well, and you and Josh Bowe are my two favorite Dallas Mavericks writers, which is why it's delightful that I know you both. This team is so certain things, and I wrote about this. Maybe you didn't read my piece. Hopefully you didn't, because who comes to Mavs Moneyball? But I don't exhibit belief very often. And this team is a justification of faith. They're really special. And I'm really, part of why I keep, and you've listened to the comments, you've been here for an hour. The commentariat won't be able to make sense of the team because they've only been together since mid-February, but it is that important.
Here's a long winding answer to say the one thing that I want to say.
Ooh.
This is going to be my first NBA Finals.
Ooh.
I've never covered the NBA Finals before. I would have. And I would have in the year 2018, I believe. I was at SB Nation. I was national. I was the national SB Nation writer. And I was covering the Houston Rockets. We didn't have enough budget to fly me out places, but I would drive down to Houston Rocket games.
Right.
And so I was at the game 7, where they missed 27 straight threes. I wrote about that team a lot. I wrote about how they were so based in analytics and math, but they also had they had to have a faith and a belief that this math would work. Yep. I have a really cool article. I still, it's late. I can't think of a better way to say this. An article I still fuck with.
Yes.
That it's about like Patrick Beverley invites me to chapel. And then Ryan Anderson, who was not in the room, walked in from a different, totally different room. Pat Bev had already left the room. He also invites me to chapel. Yes. So there was a belief baked into this analytics, but there wasn't enough of it. Clearly, that team lost. The math didn't work. I think this team's going to win. I've seen enough. I've been seeing enough. I can't see it any other way. I understand how, on paper, the math should win. Yep. And I think that Boston has so many math advantages. They have so many qualitative advantages, reasons to believe that it's not going to work. But to your point, to the piece you wrote, to the moment your wife walked in that room, I do believe this team is going to win. I can actually, at a later point, maybe you bring me on the podcast if you have time, vice versa, I could talk about how there are some math reasons why I believe Dallas should win. I'll dive more into them. Maybe they'll make me feel better or worse.
I didn't want to do too much Celtics stuff tonight,
Yeah, exactly. We'll worry about that at a later point. But I do believe that I've seen enough from this team, and more specifically, I've seen enough from Luka Doncic, the best player in the series. So often, that's what the NBA is about. And I just think it's going to happen, man.
Love it, buddy. So Tim has written for The Athletic for several years, but one of the really cool parts about what Tim gets to do now is when he posts his article, it comes from the New York Times. I'm sorry. It's not funny. It's fucking cool. I used to I had a political science professor who made me read the New York Times every day and then would quiz us on it. So the Times is ingratiated in my brain. Tim, you be good. Thanks for staying up late. We'll talk soon, okay?
It's the job to stay up late. I'm going to go finish my article. It should be good. Check it out. But yeah, man, of course. Happy to. Let's talk this week.
That's right, we will. All right, Tim Cato, The Athletic,
See
and
y'all.
the New York Times. I love shit like that. All right, coming up next, my friend Bryce. Bryce, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Kind of running low, but I should probably stop.
Oh my gosh, it is insane the run that DFW Sports is on. I mean, not only Mavs, which like go Mavs, up the Mavs.
Yes.
And like soon we will have alternating finals games at the AAC of the Mavs and the freaking Stars, while the Texas Rangers are reigning World Series champs. Like I, as someone who is got about as deep of roots in Dallas as anyone has ever had, I'm literally 7th generation Dallas. There are streets downtown named after my ancestors. Shout out Peak Street to the old Peaks. But like, it is such a good time to be a Dallas sports fan. And like, if you ignore the Cowboys existing, which I try and do as much as I can, if you just pretend that the Cowboys don't exist and that the Dallas Chiefs, who are owned by a Dallas billionaire, and quarterbacked by
right, because you're a tech guy and I'm a Chiefs fan, so
who is quarterbacked by my literal
That's
biological son, Patrick Mahomes.
We're smugly allowed to claim
I
both.
birthed him from and there is some Dallas ties there. East Texas, it's close enough, it counts. All right, we just ignore the Cowboys existing, and like it's just such a great time to be like a Dallas sports fan. And like it's this run by the Mavs is just, it's so incredible. Like, I mean, I remember watching Luka as literally a teenager.
Yes.
Watching him interact with Dirk, like that whole thing. Like, shout out Mavs Moneyball. Credential me that whole that Luka rookie run, watching him go do his thing, and like knowing literally from the second he stepped onto an NBA court that like this guy was going to be special. This guy was going to be an all-time great. This guy, it didn't matter what the pundit said. It didn't matter what literally anybody said. This guy was special from day freaking one. And like, not only did Luka know that, not only did like the Mavs know that, but like Dirk knew that. Like literally from day one, he's like, this guy's going to be better than me. Like
anybody that's spent time with him knew it.
It's so crazy. Like, I remember like watching like Luka and his first, like Dirk was like, this guy's better than me. Like, I'm like, that's nuts. Dirk, you can't say that. And like the fact that it's true, he's 25
and he's going to the Hall of Fame, and he's like, you know what? I'm in year 21, but this guy,
it's just nuts. The run this guy is on, the hype that this man had. Like, Kirk, you and I both knew, like from draft day, the fact that he landed the Mavs, we're both like, this is a gift from the heavens. This is incredible. The fact that the Mavs have this man, they literally they went from Dirk to Luka with a year of overlap, no time off. There was literally a year over. It was just magical. And we get to watch this run. And like, if you had told me if you told either of us, like back in Luka's rookie year, like, oh, Luka's going to go on a finals run, his age 25 season, we'd be like, yeah, probably.
I mean, I kind of predicted. I wrote, there's writing to this effect, which is why I never try to say anything that anybody can use against me. I had hoped by his like age 27 season that he would be an all NBA player. He did it in year 2.
He's been first team all NBA, like basically
there's like
every year.
So Bryce, I don't know if you know this. There are something like 18 players in NBA history who have more all NBA first team selections than him. 18
in history. He's 25, right?
Right.
Who are some of those players? It's
like
Michael
LeBron,
Jordan.
it's like Bill Russell. Like it's truly like it's just names upon names.
Some bums who are not nearly as good.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy the stuff that he does, and like it's not just like what he's done; it's the way he's done it, and the way he like. The last game 4, was unfun, clearly. But like heading into this game, I think all the Mavs fans and all the like Luka fans, everyone who like watched the game knew like, oh, Luka can go for about like 1,000 points. He's gonna like be on a mission. He's gonna just like make it his mission to just annihilate this team. And like the Wolves are a great team, like literally a phenomenal defense, statistically like one of the best defensives that we've ever seen.
That's right.
Rudy Gobert, one of the best defenders we've ever seen in the sport. And I tweeted this out because Tim Calishaw of the Dallas Morning was like, hey, like, oh, like, why are we thinking like Rudy Gobert is such a great defender? Like, he is. But like, you could have an amalgamation of the 5 greatest defenders in the history of the freaking sport to like specifically defend Luka Doncic, and like, it wouldn't make a difference. It doesn't matter who it is. Luka is just like, I'm that dude. I'm going to score. I'm going to win this freaking game, and I'm not only going to win it, I'm going to embarrass you and put you in the grave and fill that grave with concrete for the rest of time. Like, it is no question that I am going to end you forever.
I love
and
it.
It's so fun. We literally had a year of overlap. We went from Dirk to Luka with a year of overlap. There was no gap.
None.
Like,
I'm
we're so blessed.
Super spoiled. It's gross. I for one embrace my privilege. It's really
that's all you can. You got to acknowledge your privilege, embrace it, and enjoy it, and be like, this is what it is. Oh, the Rangers won their first ever World Series, which I never thought would happen. The Mavs are going to win another World Series or NBA Finals. Sorry, my baseball brain has taken over.
That's
forever.
Okay.
And like, if I tweeted this out, if the Mavs and Stars win championships while the Texas Rangers are reigning World Series championship, I will become the most unbearable person in the history of the earth. And I feel sorry for everyone else that has ever existed on the internet. And it's all right. It's fine. It's gonna be fun for all of us. Like, no matter what happens, like, Luka's gonna be in the finals, and like, no matter what happens, the Celtics are great. It's gonna be a fun series, and like, I think at the worst, we're gonna see a Luka like last or 2 years ago Western Conference Finals performance. We're like, oh, Luka's put it up like a 40-point triple doubles, and like, they just don't have enough, and like, who cares? He's gonna be amazing.
That's right.
It's gonna be so fun. I'm so excited.
Thanks so much for waiting forever to talk, Bryce. Appreciate you, okay?
Appreciate you.
All right, talk soon. All right, Krishna in the chat noted that I am off only by 27 players other than Luka in NBA history have 5 or more NBA all first-team selections. All right, so thanks so much to Krishna for that. Coming up next is Jake. Jake has been waiting an hour and 15 minutes. Jake, what's going on, man?
Hello. So, Australian Celtics fan. I come in peace.
Okay. Well, you look fantastic. Like the hat and the whole setup, everything's good. So I believe you come in peace. What's going on?
Once the Mavs went up 3-0, I was looking for my Mavs content, like who's going to be where I get the inside scoop, where I get the scouting report. So I've been listening to you guys for the past couple of days, and
that's a shame. We're a bunch of drunk morons.
Well, that aligns perfectly with me as another drunk moron. I was like, do I also try and get drunk in however long I'm in this backstage room for to try and catch up to you? But
no, but your countryman, Mr. Green of Perth, was
at
1:30 in the afternoon.
Hell yeah, as he should be. You know, not every day your team makes the NBA
That's
finals.
right. That's exactly right, Jake.
And the Mavs were like, as with a couple of Aussies, like, I love that Dante Exum's like had a good year, like that. It's kind of been like my West team throughout the year, just because they have the Aussies. But I just wanted to hop on, have a quick chat. It has been funny listening to like all the tropes of like you guys have dealt with throughout the season. And I feel like there's a lot that we actually share in common. Like, you guys all hate the media, and you've been like, I'm excited to see what the media says, and like, it's going to be bullshit. Whereas like, we feel the exact same way, and it feels like the media has been shitting on the Celtics.
The Celtics have won a whopping 14 games more than the Mavericks. Like 64 wins.
It's a lot of wins.
That's a lot of wins.
It's so many, and then 12-2 in the
Yes.
which is also, it's like 76-20, which is why anytime they lose, it's like a fucking DEFCON 1. It's like, so we're not allowed to lose. It feels like. But yeah, so I just wanted to come on a couple Celtics tropes that you might be hanging on to, people in the audience. So like, Celtics suck in the clutch. They don't suck in the clutch anymore. They were 4th in the NBA in clutch this year. Mavs were 3rd. Joe Mazzulla sucks. He's actually pretty good now. After he actually had a year to learn how to coach without being thrown into head coaching 2 weeks before the season.
He said far less, like, so as an NBA fan, like,
he's psycho.
Period. No, but like in his first year, he gave weird quotes. Like, he said things out loud where clearly whoever was part of like the public relations team after was like, Joe, you don't have to say that just because the future king and queen of Britain are here, you don't have to only acknowledge Christ as your savior.
And the Mother Mary.
So funny. Like, and because like he's a young man. He's younger than me. And it's just he's just not a bad guy. He's just an odd guy, and like I kind of love him because there's nothing funnier than weird. It's great.
Oh, he's been pretty close to as weird, but like the Celtics have won so much, everyone was like, I don't know. I guess it's fine. He likes to be choked out in his off days doing jiu-jitsu, and we're just gonna have to kind of live with it. Yep. But yeah, I like so like you guys have been really good on the road. And like Celtics fans kind of have a saying like, can we like steal one at home? It's like we've just been bad at home in the playoffs, but we've also been amazing.
Every game 4.
Perfect. Love to hear it.
Right there.
So it sounds like it'll be 2-2 coming back to Boston. It will be my guess. So like hopefully we can steal one at home. I heard someone saying like we're going to put Drew Holiday on Luka. I do expect it to be Jalen.
I do too.
I do expect it to be Jalen. I think he's like the best Luka defender. There's not really a Luka defender, though, that I think exists in the world. Like my strategy after listening to your podcast, which is what Celtics kind of is how they play defense. They're going to funnel Luka into the 2-point range. Cutting off the lobs will be number one, and then I think the Celtics have played really well against Kyrie, and that's going to be the matchup that.
Really well for years. Like there's years of Kyrie data that makes you go, ew.
Yeah. And then I think the biggest difference, and then I can get out of here. Like I wish I would have picked the Mavs. I let the media fucking trick me into picking the Wolves, but I was like, I think everybody's underrating this Mavs defense and this Mavs team. Like the Nuggets had no rim protection. Like this Mavs defense is kind of designed a lot better to handle the Wolves. So I was like really. Like, I haven't been underrating the Mavs at all. And Jason Kidd is a defensive coach, like going back to the conference finals 2 years ago, like the personnel doesn't quite match like how good they are defensively, in my opinion. And so like he's clearly a really good defensive coach. But I will say, watching the Wolves series is that like the Wolves have a lot of non-threats. And so I don't know if Rudy Gobert might be one of the worst offensive players that plays like 30 plus minutes in the playoffs. And I would just say right now, we'll see what happens with KP. I would respect Al Horford. He's a really good player. For Mavs fans in general that are thinking like Al Horford, he's 38, whatever.
I mean, he's like his challenge has nothing to do with his ability and much more to do with his age because he's such a good pick and pop player. He's actually a really good defender in space. The only thing that you would worry about with him is like if you're playing him like 33 minutes a game, then something has gone awry. Not because he's bad. It's like he's old and you don't want him to play that much. Like you want him to be like the guy that does like certain things in spurts because he's real strong and he's real smart, but he's still old.
Yes, very old. And if LeBron wasn't as good as he is at his age, I think Al Horford being as good as he is at his age would actually be a bigger story because he fucking has been awesome in the playoffs again. And he was supposed to be the backup, and he was the backup. Now I'm hoping Kristaps Porzingis can be the backup and play 15, 20 minutes. But yeah, and then on the defense piece, there's not really anywhere to hide. And I'm not saying, and like Kyrie's been good. Kyrie and Luka really impressed me defensively throughout the playoffs. But I will say, watching the Wolves series, it's like the Celtics just have there are so many off-ball sets, so many off-ball screens between Derek White and Drew Holiday. They can make Luka and specifically Luka and Kyrie work really hard on the defensive end in a way that I don't think that the Mavs have really had to deal with because there's no Josh Giddey, there's no Rudy Gobert, there's like you know what I mean.
Like,
so, yeah.
You have to guard all 5 positions, and if you're gambling on someone, the gamble is a pretty poor bet because all 5 guys are going to be able to do something most possessions.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a new challenge. That's where I think that the Celtics may have an advantage. I'm not confident or not confident anymore after the last two Celtics playoff runs. I just pray that it works out for us because I came in confident the last 2 years. I will say this team is different, but I respect them as a hell of a lot, and so
should be fun.
Yeah, man, I'm terrified. Please let us just have one. We've been so close for so long.
No,
you know,
we'll not.
I think that's fair. Thank you. I appreciate that, and see you guys soon.
Jake, be good. Thanks for joining.
See
Good
ya.
commentary. Jake is the only Celtics fan we're going to allow to join. Just kidding. Anybody that's that polite and also friendly is allowed up here, because the real thing about all this is that none of us can do anything. So being rude assholes to one another only gets you so far. Coming up next, also from India, Ishan. Ishan, what's up, man? Long time no talk.
Yeah, I was a regular on the Spotify live days. My work has just become a lot more hectic over the last year, so I've not been even. Right now, I'm in the middle of my workday, Kirk. It's like 12:30 in the afternoon.
Thank you for joining in the middle of your day.
No, of course. What a fucking moment! Like, it felt surreal to me. It felt like we've been in a weird. Like, of course, we're more spoiled than most fan bases are. Of course, the Dirk Luka overlap has been mentioned, and obviously, we had someone like Luka to root for the last half a decade. But it was kind of a torturous cycle, Mavs fans were put in over the last 2 years, especially with, how the goalposts kept shifting.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow this team just found the resolve to, keep it about basketball. And in the finals, this West throughout the year was hailed as one of the toughest Western conferences ever. And nobody thought Dallas would be in the finals. Outside of Tim Legler, nobody even was really advocating for Western Conference Finals for us. In terms of the mainstream, of course, as Mavs fans, we had a different resolve. We've been talking about a parade for the last month. So, but otherwise, it's not like we've been that backed. So it's wonderful to see us achieve. It feels like a very us against everyone else, which is going to shift in the finals because I think Boston, the Mavs versus Boston, I don't see Boston having a lot of casuals on their side. It's fun to hate Boston. Sorry to the Boston fan that was just here, but it's fun to hate on Boston. And I'm really looking forward to what happens in the finals. And of course, so many people have said it, but I also do genuinely believe that we can beat the Celtics. They're so amazing, but I think we are built in a way that can just bother them enough. And cold shooting is genuinely a killer for them. And we've proven through this series that, we have the weapons to, even one of the coldest shooting nights of this era of Mavs playoff basketball, we can grind it out. And I feel like that versatility is giving me a lot of undue confidence. But, Mavs in 6, I'm so excited to see.
It's not undue. This is fun. Why would you not? Like we had 2 different articles turned in today at Mavs Moneyball, which just doesn't happen this way because we communicate normally. But we had 2 different articles of guys basically being like, if you don't believe, what are you doing? And like, that's what this is about, man. And you believe and I believe, and that matters a great deal.
There were Mavs fans when we lost Game 4 legitimately scared that we were going to blow a 3-0 lead. Like, firstly, that's unprecedented. Like, that's beyond unprecedented. And if you believe in what Luka Doncic is, if you believe in what Kyrie Irving is, why the hell would you even delude yourself with that thought? That made me furious, honestly. I was like, you guys can't be this, like, that's actual front running. You lose 1 game and you think you're going to lose 3 more. Why? Like, what did the Wolves show you that made you feel like they can beat us 3 more times consecutively after that game? But that's besides the point. They're in the past. I just want the last thing I want to hit on is I think the Mavs might have set a sort of model for team building that a lot of asset distressed teams are going to start relying on. I think when we came into the season, obviously all the conversation was that, the Mavs in terms of how they've spent the assets, be the Porzingis trade still keeping a pick away from us. Then obviously the Kyrie trade, we had no actual value tradable players like less than 12 months ago, where we were actually thinking of trading Hardy, Green. We thought Tim was a negative asset. So from that situation where you have picks locked up, your players aren't that great, just getting that number 10 pick and what Nico did with it, I think it does set a model now, because we did not wait to try and go all in on another player, that 3-star model. We spent considerable chunk of assets on just getting role players. Of course, Grant we had to move on from, but we spent a pick for Grant. We spent a pick for PJ and like a juicy, unprotected pick in that non-Luka window that, you know, people have been telling us about, that, oh, it's after his contract. So why the Mavs trading assets after that contract if he leaves? So I think that this is quite model bending. Aaron Gordon success in Denver, again, it was a very similar price to what we got for PJ. And now I think if there's an undervalued forward around the NBA, teams might just be like, oh, this player might be more valuable than we're giving them credit for. And I think that's going to create some shift in the market very soon. Because we knew that these players were undervalued role players on shit teams. And now I'm getting worried that like a lot of teams are going to try and adopt this, whether it works for them, whether it works for them. Again, someone said
tough
that.
Though, man, because with the play-in, you got 10 teams in each conference. Unless you're so horrid in the Eastern Conference that you stop caring, you're not going to find that many teams. Like, this really is. I think hindsight will look at what the Mavericks did with the Hornets and with the Wizards and just say, man, like the Mavericks made the right offer at the right time in a very soft trade market. And it's better to be lucky than good.
I think they were well thought out moves. I don't think it was luck. Because again, within the Mavs, last summer, there was so many Mavs fans just thirsting for PJ. If you go look at any of PJ's tweets from last year, anytime 2023.
Josh wrote an article like the third day of free agency.
Yeah.
Like, somebody offered this guy. And then everyone and their uncle was like, oh. And it like just sort of continued until he became a Maverick. It's amazing.
I remember Mavs fans were upset when we offered the MLE to Matisse and not to PJ, because it was something that felt like could have been worked out. Whether Charlotte matches or not, different issue. Right. But of course, like that was the hope. Like we would get PJ then. We saw it. Gafford. I have tweets from 2021 about getting Daniel Gafford onto this team. Like these were two, again, people in tune. Seemed like obvious moves.
Oh, IT's
it's just that you have to.
Like he wrote the same 3 articles every trade deadline for 3 years.
So that's what, like, I'm saying that teams are getting a little too cute with how they try to manage their assets and how they're trying to protect players from, like, maybe we trade this player a little too early. You know, Grant Williams was young and on a very long contract that could have easily been a bounce back, especially with his hot shooting streaks. People were telling us that we lost the trade because he went to the Hornets and just started like hitting every 3 again, just like he did for us for the first 2 weeks of the season. So I think I think it should like at least present to people that sometimes basketball can be way simpler than we make it seem.
You're right. You're right, man.
Okay, thanks for having me on, Kirk.
Sean,
love speaking with you. Take care. Have a good night.
Have a good day for you as well. All right, coming up next, Mavs Moneyball contributor who does all sorts of things. Mavs beyond the Mavs. He also writes about the Dallas Wings. Isaac, what's going on, dude?
What's going on? How you doing?
We just eclipsed 3 hours and 30 minutes, so I feel gross, but we're gonna keep pushing.
Well, it's ironic that you brought me up because you just talked about people that were scared that we were going to blow a 3-0 lead. So I'll get that out of the way and say that I was one of those people. There was a caveat to it, but I watched how we played without without Derek Lively, and I was concerned, not worried, but I was concerned that if Lively didn't come back, that we could be the first. Not that we would, but that we could be the first. And people were not happy that I said that.
I mean, it's understandable, dude. It really is, because I love this Mavs team, but we've also seen them like take a punch and not get up.
Right.
And that's just what happens in sports some days.
Like, I love the Mavericks to death, but, I watched the Timberwolves shoot 53% in Game 4, and I'm like, okay, our defense isn't as good without him. But
That's
I was
right.
also looking at cards that I bought. I buy basketball cards, and I bought a couple of packs last year. Guy that saved our season, and then Derek Lively rookie card. So
I love that.
Hopefully it'll be worth something someday. They're not numbered, but they might be worth something.
That's amazing. I love that.
I've got stacks of like hundreds of them that I just keep.
Why not? No,
Exactly.
Basketball cards are great. What are you gonna like? Why not? If you have the space, who cares? Have fun.
Yeah, I've got a whole box up there, like thousands of them. Just collecting dust. Who knows what they're going to be worth someday?
So what are you thinking, buddy? What else you got for us?
I'm happy we're in the finals. I still can't believe it. I was 9 the last time we made the finals, and I remember watching those games at my elementary school summer camp, like going to the camp the next day. And we had this insane idea. I'll never forget it. We had this insane idea that we were going to take a field trip to the championship parade when they won it. Like,
why not?
The school was they wanted to take us to like the middle of it, like a bunch of
Sure.
9-year-old kids to the middle of this melee, because they didn't think that it was going to be that big a deal. And then they saw on the news that there was like 250,000 people expected to be there. And they were like, okay, let's change it up. And we ended up going to some local sports bar at like 10 o'clock in the morning. So there's a bunch of 9 and 10-year-olds playing pool in a dead sports bar at 11 in the morning. I'll never forget it. It's one of my favorite Mavericks memories. Because almost none of the kids were Mavs fans. I was one of the only kids that was watching basketball at the time. So they were like, we're going on a field trip. And I'm like, you're damn right we're going on a field trip. The Mavericks just won the NBA Finals. Like, celebrate with me, damn it. Like,
I love that. That's so weird. How perfect.
Perfect way to celebrate the first championship I've watched, and hopefully the first of at least 2 after the next 3 weeks get done.
Man, you're the man. You're the man, Isaac. Isaac has written a number of I think this is good framing. At Mavs Moneyball, we also cover the wings. And so he is along with 1.5 other folks that regularly watch and cover the wings. So go scroll through Mavs Moneyball. It's just below the fold. It was up all day today. It was a great story. And we will also beat him into writing about the Mavericks too, but he's covering things for all angles for us. Isaac, thank you so much for hanging out and staying up late. Okay.
Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Isaac has been a wonderful addition to the Mavs Moneyball staff. My favorite part about this time of the year is people who like respond to us for the first time. Like, hey, do you have any writing entries? And it's like, well, yeah, we actually do have space. I'm just not bringing you on during the finals. So, all right, coming up next is my man, Grayson. Grayson, what's going on, dude?
Hey, Kirk, is it fighting me? Can you hear me? What's up?
Yeah, it's been a long time. Welcome back. What's going on?
Thanks. Yeah, I haven't called in forever, but I can't sleep. So I drove to Whataburger, listened the whole way there, and you were still going. So I was like, you know what? I'll pop in and say something. I'll make it quick. I just want to say shout out to you. Shout out to the Mavs Moneyball staff. Y'all deserve this. Y'all work your asses off. And, like, I just want to say it does not go unnoticed. And like the coverage has been so good. There's so many people that that just have educated me so much and that cover this team so well. And the Mavs Moneyball people, but also you brought on Jason earlier and Tim and like Nick and Slightly, like all these guys. You guys just deserve this so much. Like you guys genuinely.
I don't think Slightly Biased and I could exist on the same show. Just like too much intensity, like the screen might blow up. But yeah, man, I'm really glad you like it. That's what we do it for.
Yeah, I just want to give you all a shout out. Obviously, the Mavs are great right now. We're loving it. Dallas sports are awesome. So yeah, I just want to give you some love, and I'll sign off super quick. Just want to borrow a phrase from my favorite show. Fuck Boston.
Good point, man. Grayson, talk soon.
See you, Kirk.
All right. Coming up next, we have MVP Lucas77. What's up, man?
Hey, yo. Thanks for having me on, y'all. It's 2 a.m. I'm replaying the game right now. Got the first quarter on.
Dude, you're going to be up all night then, because the game is just going to inject you with you're just going to be – Luka's going to hit bullshit, amazing threes, and you're going to be like, all right, I'm up until the sun rises.
You know what? It could very possibly happen, and maybe you're still live at that point. I don't know. Maybe not. My man. But I just want to share something. So I've lived in Dallas for 3 years. I got a season ticket package when I first got here because I know that Luka's either entering his prime or in his prime.
That's right.
And so it's been wild. I was not a Mavericks fan before I got here, but I love NBA basketball. First preseason game I went to, somebody scored a bucket, and I was like, well, shit. I mean, if we're going to be at games, we're cheering for the home team. So Let's go Mavs. Me and my son went and got clearance stuff off the rack at halftime. But at the start of the season, my daughter was only 6. My son is 4. I sat them down mostly just to have a captive audience. And I tried to explain to them that Luka Doncic might be the best basketball player on planet Earth. So I tried to break it down to 6-year-old level and was like, guys, out of all the humans on planet Earth, 2 months into that season, I told them I was wrong, that he's not there yet. Last year, I had the same discussion. Now this year again, so just to see the maturation of Luka Doncic to now, we've seen it and we know it, but to see that he is the best player on planet Earth, and we've known it, and now the world is seeing it. Whether they give him his respect in the finals like they should, leading up to it over the next week. But it's just amazing to see Luka Doncic play basketball. I can't believe he's on the Dallas Mavericks. They are in the NBA Finals. It's just a special time to be in Dallas, to be a Mavericks fan. And it's thrilling to watch Luka play basketball. To have him teamed up with Kyrie, it's just ridiculous. And from last year to this year, I said a lot of crazy things about Jason Kidd, about Nico Harrison. I was wrong. I've apologized over the last month. And I don't know, man. What a time to be alive is all I got for you.
That's right, brother. Thanks for hanging out late, man. Enjoy the rewatch. It's going to be better than the real game, all right?
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
All right, you too. All right, before we bring Vikrant up here as our last guest, I want to shout out the folks who've given us additional tips. We have my man, Tim, who says, my theory on the media coverage of Luka MVP case is that they know how good he is, but don't want to build his greatest of all time resume this early until he forces them to as champion. NBA boogeyman has arrived. Volta Del Mar says, Cook, you guys work hard and deserve a cover of the finals team. Kirk, Josh, Dalton, Nick Angstad, all of you guys. Thank you so much for that. Paul Armstrong says, take that with you. Let's go home. Let's fucking go. My friend Dominic Rangula says, get some sleep. Congrats, Dallas, but the job is not finished. All right, last but not least, he's the last person who's waiting to join our show. He's hopped in and out. Vikrant, what's going on? Hit that unmute button. That's how I can tell you're not quite there yet.
Hello, hello.
Hello, welcome to the show.
Oh, I am buzzing right now.
Hit that unmute button. That's how I can tell you're not quite there yet.
I'm not sure. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, hello.
Hello, welcome to the show.
Oh, I am buzzing right now.
We're getting some great audio feedback. This is great. Quite there yet.
Yeah, I think this. Can you hear me now? Hello, hello.
Hello, this is the perfect way to end the show.
Oops, not sure what's up, but we are it's about a little bit past noon where I'm at right now, and oof, life is good.
Tell me what you liked about this game. Tell me what you're thinking about the next series.
Life is good. Jeez, I'm not sure what's up with my mic, but just wanted to drop by, say hi. This is wild to me right now.
What else are you thinking about the series so far then? Man, this is funny. This is the only time we've had actual lag in the show. Vikrant looks so good, though. He's got like the great hair. He's got everything going on, the good glasses and everything. We'll figure it out. Usually, and Krishna said,
I think my audio's been all kinds of janky today, but yeah.
It's okay. Glasses and everything. We'll figure it out. Usually, and Krishna said,
I think my audio's been all kinds of janky.
This is great. Yeah. This is 4 hours into the show. We're having a great time. I'm going to say this last and then let Vikrant send us out. Vikrant, tell me any of your thoughts about the Mavericks series or playoff run to date, and then the Celtics series.
Yeah, life is
I'm going
good.
to say this last and then let Vikrant send us out. Vikrant, tell me any of your thoughts about the Mavericks series or playoff run to date, and then the Celtics series.
Yeah, life is
I'm going to
good.
say this last and then let Vikrant send us out. Vikrant,
So I think I got the question. I'm not fully sure, but no, Mavs in 4. Clearly, like I think that is the most rational possible take I can give you. But woof, I think it's going to be a super fun series just because we've got very clearly the best player in the series. And yeah, I think it's really I think we got a little bit less rest than I would have strictly liked. But hey, it's anybody's game, best of 7, and we take it from there.
Hey, I'm not sure if you can. I can't hear you.
Oh man,
Okay,
I was talking. I was muted too. I just gave a whole long soliloquy to no one. Vikrant carried us off the show, and I have now brought Zach up. Zach, what's going on, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing tonight?
Dude, we're almost 4 hours in. I am I'm sauced. But I'm having a great time.
I'm actually surprised you're still on. I was listening earlier and started playing the game a little bit, then came back and was like, "Oh, he's still streaming. I'm gonna hop in there and throw my 2 cents."
Absolute sicko.
For sure, man. It's just been a crazy ride, man. Mavs are finals bound. I don't even know how to feel about this season. It's been up and down, but we're here. I just want to say this about the Celtics, man. I don't understand. I don't think they can guard our pick and roll. Like when Luka gets in the lane and we got Lively back there or Gafford, who do they have on the back line that can really, guard that? I just don't see it.
They were not able to guard the Pacers pick and roll. Now, the Pacers played a completely different pace than the Mavericks, and the Mavericks have actually played up tempo. But like Jason Timpf, who's a Lakers guy, showed how many points per possession that the Pacers were scoring, that the Celtics were surrendering on pick and roll. And so the answer to your question is, can they guard the Mavericks pick and roll? And the answer is no. Like they can't do it. They can't do it. It's not a matter of can't or can or can't. It's a matter of like, do they outscore the Mavericks? Do they limit them in other areas? Like, I think the Celtics are the better team on paper. I think the Mavericks might have the better game plan to win.
I agree. I think I agree with what you said a couple of pods ago. I think you said that Jason Kidd is a playoff coach, not a regular season coach.
Yeah,
and
that's right. Like he's really ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. I think he locks in. He's got the team that he believes in, and I don't know. I think I'm gonna go Mavs in 6. I'm gonna go Mavs in 6.
I said Mavericks in 7 out of respect, but you're probably the 4th person to say Mavs in 6, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, just from how this playoffs have gone. Obviously, we're winless in game 4s, and so I don't even know if we can get game 1 or not. We got it with the Timberwolves, so I don't even know what to expect at this point. But I'm gonna go Mavs in 6. Yeah, and I'm gonna stick with that. But yeah, man, I just wanted to get on here and give my little take, man. Appreciate you for what you do, man. Please keep it up.
I appreciate you as well, Zach. Thanks so much for joining.
For sure. Take care.
All right, we got another late joiner. 2 late joiners. Prezi, what's going on? Hi, welcome to he didn't mean to join. So then we had another person named Toro in the chat there that I'm reading device is not connected. Now I will filibuster for about 30 seconds and allow anybody else that wants to join to try. And then otherwise I'm going to cut it and we're going to go to bed because it's close. It's 2:15 and I still actually have to edit and publish this bitch. Guys, this has been a great deal of fun. Mavs or Pod Maverick is sort of my own baby. I drag Josh along for the ride because Josh is the best analyst in the game, in my opinion, in Mavs land. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. We'll be back probably a couple times this week. I really look forward to everyone on a Friday afternoon. Hey, my man Rolo's joining.
Hey, Kirk, can you hear me?
I can hear you. What are you doing up this late, Sicko?
Man, I'm just getting out of the club, bro.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And just partying it up, partying up. I was celebrating solidarity, but now I'm celebrating the Mavs win, man. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy. But yeah, I can't believe you're still streaming, bro. I just wanted to come out and shout you out, Kirk. I appreciate you, bro. Man, it's just all love right now.
That's right.
The season has just been crazy. It's been great. It's been up. It's been down. It's been round and round. But what I wanted to share, and I don't know if it's been shared yet or not. I'm gonna have to listen.
Please
back
do.
to the Pod Maverick. Yeah, definitely. But I think I've been saying this all playoffs, man. We have the greater asshole. Luka is the top notch. He's the one, man. And I say that, and I say that with the utmost respect and love for him, because everybody knows that Michael Jordan was was an asshole as well. And so you have to have one to be able to win on the grandest stage. And I believe that we've got the best one right now, man. So yeah, I say Mavs in 7 as well as you did, I believe, Kirk. But I hope that they do take it in 6, bro. But I appreciate you again. We'll be chatting, man. Have a great night.
You too, buddy. Be good. All right, this has been a lot of fun. Gosh, it has been a lot of fun. We're approaching 4 hours. I'm really tempted. I see Iztok is awake in Slovenia. He posted a photo of himself with the Pravi MVP photo on. I wonder if he'd join because he's awake because it's in Slovenia, which is X number of hours away from now. But he's probably not gonna. Guys, wonderful time. Great friends, great fans. If you've listened to this long on the audio stream later, because this is going to be a 3 hour and 20-minute podcast, then you are weird and I love you. Everybody be so good. Kirk Henderson, Mavs Moneyball, and Pod Maverick. Everyone have a great rest of your week. Go Mavs.